There we go.
There we
We're
go.
welcome, guys. We're hosting the first Ground Force podcast. My name is Misha. I'm the founder of Ground Force, and my co-host is Jan, also known as the Human Forklift. Also, our manager of operations at Ground Force, but also a black belt and the main coach at Focus Jiu-Jitsu Eindhoven, one of the fastest growing gyms in the region, I would say. I know if you can talk a little bit about the gym and about yourself and your jiu-jitsu background, Jan.
Yeah, as you said, I'm a manager of operations at Ground Force, but also head coach and owner of a gym here in Eindhoven, the Netherlands. I started training jiu-jitsu, I think, in 2017. Always kind of had the goal to train a lot, get good fast to become a coach. I was already a little bit too old to become like a serious competitor. Nonetheless, in the lower belts, I did compete a lot. Still am active, but my main focus is getting other people good at jiu-jitsu now.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, you're very modest, of course, but maybe you haven't stood on the world podium or anything, but you did have some cool achievements in your competition career. Maybe what are the highlights of the tournaments you fought at?
Well, I don't know if there's like some actual highlights, but I did compete some IBJJF tournaments. I like to compete the AJP tournaments. It's not a big achievement, but I do like my Naga belt, obviously.
Yeah. Is it hanging in the gym?
It is, of course. Cool. It's good for the trial class people to see that we don't just win medals, we win belts as well.
That's it. Yeah. I don't have a lot to talk about my own jiu-jitsu background. I over the years dabbled in training a little bit. I'm like a -1 stripe white belt forever. So the setup of the show is also more me as a sidekick, and together with Jan, we will be covering different topics within jiu-jitsu. Maybe technique-wise or training-wise, but also some extra things around jiu-jitsu, like training, nutrition, recovery, how to train when you're a bit older or a certain phase of life, or training for women, different highlights that are going on at the moment. And at the moment, there's one big thing going on in the jiu-jitsu world that it's already a few weeks since that has started, but a big hype around Adcc and Greg Jones starting his own invitational, and that's what we wanted to talk about today. Just to, especially for people who haven't received the message, just go over it a bit in depth and share our point of view and share some highlights about it. Maybe maybe you can give an introduction about what's going on, what's the beef that is happening online, and what's about to happen.
Yeah, well, if the people listening didn't receive the message yet, you can watch in the same weekend as ADCC. You can watch a very high level tournament for free on YouTube, and that's because Greg Jones started his own tournament, because ADCC does not offer contracts to their fighters, doesn't offer show money, even though the fighters make the show. He was kind of like done with fighters being underpaid, sometimes not paid at all, paid in exposure only. And he started his own tournament, and I think you can win $1 million US. So it's the biggest payout I think in jiu-jitsu ever.
Definitely, yeah. So that's a huge pool for the fighters, because all the fighters that fought that were invited. So in case somebody's listening and doesn't know ADCC or the world exactly, it's basically the highest podium for no-gi grappling, at least very prestigious, and a big show. And
the Worlds is only like once every 2 years.
Yeah.
So most of the athletes really work towards it. And Greg just decided to do his tournament at the same weekend.
Yeah,
People are
exactly.
switching.
Yeah, because people have to be selected for that through trials that are being held all over the world. So all the people that have made it through the trials that are selected for ADCC Worlds it's all in August. They have also been invited by Craig or by people that he works with, right, to fight at his event.
Yeah. A lot of like well-known names have actually switched.
Yeah.
So they won't be competing ADCC.
So those names already known, or is this still like a bit guessing for us?
Names like Victor Hugo. He was, I think, probably the best ultra heavyweight. He's gonna fight at CJI, Craig's event.
Fion.
I think Fion's doing a super fight against Mackenzie Dern. I mean, that puts a lot of eyes on women's grappling for sure. Plus, she gets paid more than doing ADCC, which is a shame, right? It's like ADCC is supposed to be like ADCC Worlds is like the Nogi event, and now they're not paying their fighters, and they don't want to compete there anymore. Making this year like a less prestigious event to win, I guess.
Because
the biggest names that have switched is the Hutolo brothers.
Okay, that's huge. And do you see mainly like the top guys that are switching, or is it because you can reason both ways? Like Fion, already world champion, there's less to gain for her, winning ADCC, and financially there's more to gain at the Craig Jones Invitational. Or you could say it's the smaller guys that already don't think they're gonna win anyway, and there's at least the financial reward by doing CGI.
Yeah, because I think in CJI you get show money, which makes a lot of sense, right? If you organize an event and you invite people to actually be the show, they should probably get paid if people are paying tickets to watch that event you organize. So I would say so, like if you already know that you're really good, but you might not win ADCC good, then I think at least you get like 10K now. Which is I think that's the same as what you would get when you win ADCC or something.
And that's probably what people just need to prepare for ADCC, and because they do get a hotel and flight ticket, I guess, people that are
I guess so. I guess so. I don't know exactly, but I guess so. I guess you get your costs, like hotel, that sort of thing, and then if you win, you get some money. But for athletes working towards an event that's once every 2 years, and of course you get a lot in exposure, but I feel like if you can rent out a huge arena, you sell expensive tickets and you sell out that arena, there should maybe be budget for the fighters, like without the fighters there is no show. People don't buy the tickets, so it makes sense. I mean, in any other sports it's the same, right?
Of course. And I mean, just from a business point of view, this is what happens in the end. Somebody else does it, and then if you don't make your business work in a way that you can pay your fighters better, then somebody's gonna like take that away. Although this maybe is a bit of an unnatural situation, because is there anything known about the sponsor of this event yet? Because Craig works with somebody who is like loaded.
I really don't know.
Or like,
I don't think it's known how it's financed at all. There is some sponsors known. I think Progress is actually sponsoring. I don't know, like I think like Best Submission or something.
Right.
I'm not sure if it's like Progress or another brand that would pay like 50K for like Best Submission. So there is like
but that's peanuts with what they need in total, right? Like if you win $1 million, like those guys, I think the budget was 3 million or something for the whole event. So that's somebody who is not planning to ever make money on jiu-jitsu, who made money in, I don't know, Oh, it
Yeah,
could be just a big industry, just a rich guy who likes jiu-jitsu and wants to do something cool.
yeah. I really don't know. I don't know if the sport is big enough to do more in ticket sales, because the event is also free on YouTube. So it's not that
Yeah.
they will sell pay-per-views.
Right,
Uh,
right.
in
Yeah.
contrast to ADCC, which you pay Flow Grappling a monthly subscription to watch it.
Yeah.
So there's no revenue, I think, from watching the stream. So
Right.
it all comes from like ticket sales and sponsors and people donating money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's tough competition on both ways. Yeah, both
And
for
that's
the
the thing, right?
competitors.
That's
Yeah.
that's the argument against it also a little bit, because of course it's great for fighters to get paid. They should get paid. They put in a lot of work. Their training costs a lot of money. They could have done something else that made them more money, probably. And how sustainable is the tournament if you have a budget of 3 million and you give away 1 million in prize money and you pay everyone 10K? I mean, I think it's great for the sport that people get paid. But are they gonna get paid every year or every 2 years? That's the thing, right? Like if you mess up an ADCC weekend, because like you can talk a lot of shit about ADCC not paying their fighters. There's a lot to say for the argument that they have, like, but we pay an exposure. Like if you win, or even in Greg's case, like when he gets second every time, like he does do a lot of seminars. He sells a lot of instructionals. Yeah, like also I don't think that's for everyone, but if this is like a one-time deal where you can make money and then it goes away, it's a bit of a shame, because now ADCC gets less exposure and grows less because of that. And I think in the end, if that organization does grow and becomes bigger every 2 years, now they have the T-Mobile Arena sold out. Maybe they can do their own pay-per-view at a certain point. I don't know, but that would eventually, I hope, I like to be positive, translate in more fighter pay as well. And maybe when they are financially more stable, it will result in contracts with show money as well. I don't know, but
yeah. No, definitely.
They
They
kind of
have,
cannot grow this year that much, I think.
Yeah. No. They have a more legit structure with money flowing in, and like it's a more like a model that they have developed there compared to CGI that is completely dependent on one sponsor, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, if that guy drops down or changes his mind, there will be no more event, I guess. Let's do a little bit of a product placement in between. Time for the commercial. No, I wanted to maybe go into like the juicy details. Like, is there anything that you have heard recently, or maybe just in general, like the beef that is going on online? How are they hyping the whole thing? Maybe there's some things you can discuss, talk about.
Yeah, I'm not completely up to date with everything, but it seems that from like like Greg posts a lot of stuff on Instagram, making fun of Gordon, making fun of ADCC. I think he makes fun of receiving some death threats. Just maybe not that fun at all if you receive them. I don't know, but yeah,
you think it's real though?
Probably. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would be really upset if someone messes with my business like this. I'm not sure if I would go into death threats and all that stuff, but yeah, I can understand I don't know, that you will switch to some type of desperation mode there.
Because who's behind ADCC anyway? Is that Saudis?
Yeah, it's the Abu Dhabi Combat Club, right? So,
of course, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you hear some stories from there.
Okay, enough money there, you know. Like if they lose money this year, then I guess in 2 years they will have the same event. But yeah, hopefully next time they will pay the fighters.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But what is like Greg is doing these type of things, of course, to gain attention. But the main thing was just to like offer all the money and get fighters to switch, right? Do it on the same date, create like a real beef online.
I think his goal is just to get fighters paid. I think he, like obviously like he's a really good competitor, but he really came up in the time that they were not really paying that much. Despite his efforts of like getting to the level where he is, which is exceptional, right? Like these all these athletes give up a lot to reach that level and to put on a show, and like, you know, like you and I pay a ticket to that show, and it's only natural that a portion of that sale goes to the athlete. I think like of course it's important that the business is financially stable and they can keep doing that, but they are growing a lot, and I don't know, like, because they are free to make their own choices, of course, but they choose to rent out this super big expensive arena, which I'm sure costs a lot of money, overpaying the athletes that actually put on that show money or more money, so they can train for another 2 years and become even better, and then put on maybe an even greater show. And that's up to them. I mean, that's their choice, business-wise. But then, you if you're out of luck, you have a guy that's just like, I'm gonna do it myself, and I'm gonna get a bunch of money together, and I'm gonna pay all these athletes, and I'm gonna ask them to switch. Let's see what happens. By the way, I'm gonna do it in the same weekend. So that's what's going on right now.
It's a full-blown attack, huh?
And all these guys are really good anyway, right? So there's like, if you have the argument of like, I'm gonna pay the Rutolo twins in exposure,
right?
I mean, everyone knows them. Like,
they don't need that exposure.
It doesn't really matter if they win ADCC again. They just need to get paid because they are exceptional athletes, and they do a lot for the sport.
Because how does it look for if you look at the total setup of ADCC world selected guys? There's obviously like people like the Rutoro brothers. Gordon Ryan was there last year for the absolutes. Those are the super fight. Those are the top guys. Galvao, like that's like a 0.0 something % of jiu-jitsu competitors. But if you look at the total set, there's also like guys that are a bit less known. Like how do those people make money? If you talk about those different groups, like some people are full professionals that make quite a bit of money actually, and there's probably guys that are just working 9 to 5 or at least have to work to get a
So there's I think a lot of these guys have to work a job or like live in a small studio or something, or even a room, or they are really giving up a lot for the sport. And then I think being in a big production and not being paid naturally creates frustration. So I kind of understand that.
Regardless of whether they are making money or not, ADCC, you can totally understand the fighter's perspective, where you see such an expensive production, and you walk around there. I haven't been there, but just on TV, you see money basically, like fireworks shows, it's big sponsor booths, and a lot of how many thousands of 4,000 people, or what was it?
I don't know, but the T-Mobile Arena is quite big.
I
think it sells a lot of tickets. There should be some budget to at least like have a contract and say like, okay, if you show up, we pay your hotel, which I think they're already doing, but you also get like 10,000 euros. Euros. We're in Europe, euros, I say it automatically, US dollars, whatever. They're almost the same, but you should get paid.
Exactly.
It's not a local tournament where you sign up and hope for the best. It's the Worlds. It's a pro event. There's the actual pro showing up. They are really good. They train for 2 years. They do the trials. They go through a lot. There's injuries. They just need some money. They're pro athletes.
Because I was at for a bit smaller guys. Maybe you can speak from your experience. Like I wouldn't per se say you're the number one competitor in the Netherlands ever, but definitely at the time where you competed a lot, you would be well known as like one of the most fanatic guys that also won tournaments, especially in your belt, in your division. And there's probably a handful of other guys that competed at the tournaments that you did and won those type of medals. Maybe a few guys won more higher level prizes, but like I would definitely say you're at the forefront. Like so that's like the, I don't know, top 10%, let's say, of Dutch competitors in jiu-jitsu in the sport. If you compare to other sports, yeah, those people are making a living of their sport probably. The top 10% of professional football players, they make a living for sure. Like the bottom dozen,
Yeah.
they play in a lower division and they just get a reimbursement and they still work just to pay the bills. But like, how's that for the average? Well, let's say the more ambitious competitor here in our region, and what does that mean for their daily life and also their prospects on making a living out of jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, so in our region, like I think Europe in general, jiu-jitsu is growing a lot, but it's definitely not at the level like of the US. So like I think here, if you try to make money off of jiu-jitsu, you have to fall back on teaching. It's mainly teaching. You can start your own gym, teach private classes, but it's, yeah, like if there's like for pro events, especially here in the Netherlands, it's great that because there you get paid exposure wise. It's definitely not in money, but I think also like that makes sense because those events are also not making a shit ton of money. And I don't know the ADCC financials. They say they never turned a profit, but yeah, you're a business guy as well. You know that turning a profit is or sometimes also just like paperwork and shifting numbers around. So I don't know what they see as costs. So if you pay yourself a lot of money, for example, that could be costs.
I don't know what you're talking about with that turning numbers around.
No, it's like it's
we're
just
recording,
like,
Jan.
no, I think
that's
a normal thing, right? Like if you give yourself a certain like, I don't know if they do, right? But like if let's say I organize the event and I make a certain amount of money, and then I just look like, okay, well,
yeah,
let's not pay the fighters and pay myself this amount, and I pay my taxes to the government, then that's costs. I didn't make any money on paper. The event didn't make any profit on paper because all the costs was my wage for organizing it, for example. And I'm not sure if they do that, but
yeah, no, I mean,
that's a way of hiding and saying like, yeah, I'm not making any money either.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, why run the business then at all if it doesn't make any money?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I you know, I don't think they would be able to put in the type of money that the Craig Jones Invitational is now going to do, but it could be more than what it is. That's for sure. Yeah. How about? By the way, is Greg is fighting Gabi Garcia in like a like a freak fight? Like it's just a bit like for fun, right? It's what's that?
I don't know. It's it's a bit of a joke to me, at least. I don't know. I saw that like Craig jokes about like being on like TRT and some steroids and stuff, and that he was talking to Gabby and he was doing like 50 milligrams of Anavar and she was only doing 25. So like he will probably win.
You can that would be easy bets if you can just compare the TRT like, levels.
How many steroids do you take? Probably the other guy will win.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
No, I don't know. She's very big. She's way heavier than Craig.
Yeah.
She looks a lot more muscular than him. So.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I spoke to a few guys that are gonna be there at ADCC, and they were not switching, but they were not the biggest names, let's say. So,
Yeah.
but you were saying earlier that like a lot of the big names have already confirmed that they're switching, right?
Yeah, a lot of big names switch. Yeah, I don't know. I'll be watching CJI for free on YouTube. Over my horrible flow grappling stream.
But what are they gonna do though with the empty cards? Because there's a certain amount of people that have been selected. Do they have reserves, or are they gonna invite?
Yeah, they fill up
people?
the spots. I mean, there's plenty of people that want to fight ADCC, and there's plenty of names that are maybe not so well known, but they are really good. So not to say that it's not worth watching ADCC. It's gonna be a super high level tournament.
Yeah.
Even though like maybe some of the names you see there now as replacements, you think like I'm not sure who that person is.
Right.
They're gonna put on a show. They are the same as the other athletes. They train full time they dedicate their lives to the sport as well. I hope they get paid.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's no matter what happens, this will be a great showcase for people that now get the opportunity to fill up the spots at ADCC and fight there, even though they weren't supposed to in the first place. Maybe as a sort of a final topic, like maybe you could talk a little bit about your lineage and in that sense, sort of your connection with Craig Jones, or it's not like you know him personally, but like
to be clear, I don't know him at all. I think I once sent him a message on Instagram because he was around and I wanted to invite him to do a seminar at the gym, and he's like didn't reply. My lineage is a bit weird. I think we started out as a Gracie Barra school, and when I started training there, it was not a Gracie Barra guy teaching. It was a guy from Australia, Ezra Trotter, who used to train when like back in Melbourne with like Kid Dale and Lachlan Giles, and I think Craig was in the same team. I think he was like a purple belt at the time, so they trained a little bit together, and that's the guy I sort of learned most of my jiu-jitsu from. Definitely, he put the fundamentals there.
Right. Did he ever talk about Craig from the time they were training?
Like a little bit, just tough rounds. Not that much, no.
Because back in the days it wasn't per se that remarkable, right? Ezra finished third or second at the Worlds, I think, in purple belt.
In blue, I think.
Oh, in blue?
In blue in the gi. I think he won. He did a tournament in Australia and he won a ticket to do a camp at Robert Drysdale's, I think, in Vegas, and then go to the Worlds. And I think he placed like second or third in blue belt, and then he won that same ticket in purple.
Right.
But then I think he lost in the second round.
Okay. No, but we were talking about it the other day that, when Craig was in his blue belt, purple belt, it wasn't per se that obvious compared to other upcoming guys like Ezra, for example, who went a different route in life, that he was gonna be the big star, right? It's sometimes interesting how things can turn out.
I think Craig did win. I'm not sure if it was Worlds, but I think he won it in the gi as well.
Yeah.
Like he was really up there, I think.
Cool. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, I guess this is a good closure of our ADCC episode, the first episode of the Ground Force podcast. I hope that people that are tuning in, that are viewing or listening, enjoy this. If you like this, subscribe to our wherever you are listening to this as a reel or as the whole episode. Subscribe to whatever channel you can get your hands on, and keep following us. And also, leave your comments below what you thought about this episode or what you would like to see in the future. We're going to be doing more of these different topics. We can go anywhere. We have a pretty not so informal setup template, and we can discuss questions of listeners. We will go over, like, as Jan is a black belt with his own gym, we're going to go over questions that he often gets from starting white belts, but also, other levels like blue belts that are plateauing or people with brown belt. So, so going to be available for different type of audiences, and just, going to make content that is interesting for people that are listening. So if you have any comments, questions, let us know. And you can always send a message, an email to info@groundforcegear.com, and then we'll pick up your question for one of the next episodes. Thanks, Jan, and see everybody next time.